Ty and Natalie Chambers made a pretty short trip to our studios from Hamilton, Ontario today. But their relationship has traveled a long and tumultuous road. I'm so thankful they are willing to come and share their saga with us. You don't mind me using that word, do you, folks?
No.
Welcome. Let's go back to, how about May '97? That's when you met.
Yes.
Tell us where and where you were in your lives in May of '97.
Well, I was a single mom, had a 5-year-old little boy, and was going to school and working part-time, and I was at a dance club, and that's where I met Ty.
Was it love at first sight, Ty?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was it was strange. I've never approached a woman before, and I was just drawn to her. And it was, I told her all this. It was like a light shining on her, and I just tried it. I tried, and I spoke to her. You know, it's just.
And it clicked.
Yes.
You moved in together?
Yes, probably about 6 months later.
And you had a little girl?
Little boy. Oh, yes, we had a little girl.
Together?
Together, yes. 2 years later.
2 years later. And a month after your baby was born, you got married.
Yes.
This is not an unusual order.
No.
Nowadays, is it?
No,
Yes, it's not, no.
Now, where did things start to get uncomfortable?
Well, I think as passionate and as fast as we fell in love in the first place was as passionate and as volatile as our arguments would be. So it wasn't that much long after we first got together that we first started to have arguments. I think we may have had, the first 6 months may have been bliss, and then they started maybe right after we moved in together. That's probably it.
They can laugh about it now.
Yeah.
These are your words.
Yes.
I think, Natalie. Although we loved each other very much, we fought something awful.
Yes.
You talk about big blowouts weekly, and
Yes.
this was not just verbal,
No.
physical.
Some physical, yes.
Yes.
It always, every time we start fighting, I would threaten to leave, and I'll start walking out, and she would block the doorway, and a lot of the physical would be me throwing her
Out of the
out of the way,
Or me hitting him. Like he would be putting on a shoe, I'd take the other one, and horrible, but hit him across the head with it so he wouldn't go, and it didn't work very well.
but the verbal abuse, I said
Name-calling.
things that I wouldn't say to an enemy.
And
It
me
was
as
terrible.
well.
It was terrible.
Did you know where it was coming from, Ty?
Well, I see it now. Like, I mean, the anger I used to have when I was younger, and it just, everything. I guess, you know, I was in a gang when I was younger, and violence, just striking out. I felt better seeing the other person hurt, and I didn't want to be hurt. I had to get the other person first, and that's how it was with the relationship. I wanted to make sure she was hurt. She knew that I'm winning. I'm the winner here.
It's about control,
I
isn't
run.
it?
Yes, I guess that's what it was.
It was kind of sad reading about some of the things in your childhood. You said you were part of a gang. Fighting was a way of life for you as a child. One of 5 kids raised by a single mom.
Yes.
Some real challenges there. Your best friend was killed. Was he in a gang at the time?
We were on our way out, and yes, I left him alone to do something else at a at a community center. It was a little dance there, and I left him alone, and a couple of guys ganged up on him,
And you were angry.
yes.
Angry at his death, probably angry at yourself, and angry at God.
Yes, very angry at God. Very angry at God for my childhood with my mom. She was a Christian. She kept praying for her health, but there was no food. You know, it was a struggle for my mom, watching her trying to do everything. And I was angry at God. He didn't help. My mom thought, I mean, he was the greatest. Like, he was there. He was, you know, he was doing everything that she wanted,
Your mom put you and a younger sister on a bus every Sunday to go to church.
Yes.
Until football rescued you, right? At
Yes,
about 9?
I joined football just for that reason.
So that Sunday mornings were busy with something
Yes,
else.
that's right, yes.
So God was not in your good books,
No.
was he?
Wasn't, no.
And all this anger. Did you know about this background, Natalie?
Oh, yes.
You did?
Yeah.
Now, what made you so mad?
I don't know. I don't know if I was that angry. I was just, I probably the same thing. I wanted to win the fight too. I wanted him to hear me. And if we were arguing or disagreeing, he would just shut down. He would sometimes even sit on a chair, and while we were arguing, he would close his eyes and just like he wasn't even there. And so I would become infuriated because I wasn't being heard. And that would...
You didn't have this kind of violence in your home growing up?
Well, I never witnessed physical violence between my parents, but there was screaming, yelling matches, and yes, yeah. So
it's interesting. I saw one psychologist illuminate the something you've already referred to, Ty, and a wife being irrationally upset with her husband, and it was a regular pattern in the home.
yeah.
In this case, it was over his choice of a tie.
Wow.
It's like, leave the guy alone. But what was pointed out was that there was a selfish release in the venting, and it was almost her form of pleasure, of entertainment in dealing with her own emptiness and frustration, of course, to the one that was nearest and dearest. And there's something here in both of you that reflects this, doesn't it?
We were hurting, and there was so much in our lives that we were lacking that we didn't even know what we were lacking, and looking for each other to fill that. And when we didn't fulfill that for each other, we were so used to being able to be angry and explosive angry. But when you get two people that are like that together, it's crazy.
It almost felt good at the time to see her hurt.
Yeah.
I guess it's that the venting, or I'm not sure, but I felt like, I guess you said powerful. I mean, I saw her hurt, I did it.
Tragically common. This is
Yes.
tragically common. You did seek help
Yes.
from counselors before and after you separated, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
You separated in 2001, January 2001, for 6 months.
Yes.
Missed each other.
Yes.
Didn't have a typical separation because, Ty, you were still coming and being involved with the children.
Yes.
You didn't really want to be away from each other.
No, we just didn't know how to. We didn't know how to fix it. We didn't know how to stop the fighting. But we loved each other. We wanted to be together, but we didn't know how to make it work.
Enter the passion. You went to see the film, Natalie.
Yes.
Let me see, that was February 2004. This had a tremendous effect on you.
It did.
Tell us about it.
It did. I first gave my heart to the Lord when I was about 12 years old. My aunt and uncle were born-again Christians, and they would invite us to church. And so I had experience with the Lord, but I never surrendered my life to Him. It was more of a story. I felt good when you would talk about Him, but I didn't really know anything about Him. So when I went and saw The Passion and I was watching it, Jesus became more than a story. He became so real, and I said to myself, if this is true, Natalie, you need to make a choice. If you believe that Jesus really did this for you, how can you not spend the rest of your life living it for Him? And so I knew that by the end of that movie, I had to make a choice. I couldn't just believe it but not live it. And